Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to my channel, The Dyslexic Reader. Today I am doing part 2 of my April wrap-up. At the minute I'm just filming these as I get a stack of books from the library and I finish them and I want to take them back so I can get more. So I'm still not sure how I'm going to edit these clips, whether I'm going to put them all together or whether I'm going to keep them separate or put a couple of short ones together, but that'll be a surprise for you in the future watching this. So I have been reading really well in April and that has continued. It has waned a little, but we're still going good. So I've got 6 books to talk about. So it's all positive. That in itself is more books than I read in March, I believe, so it's all good. We're just gonna get stuck in. Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Loved it. 5 stars. It's everywhere on BookTube. I actually put it on reserve at the library so that they could bring it in for me because I'd heard so much about it. It's set in an alternate world where there's 4 different Londons. Grey London has no magic. White London has very little magic and the humans try to control it and it's all very violent. Red London has magic that's there's a balance between humanity and magic and everything's going good. And Black London, the magic took over and it had to be destroyed and sealed off. And it's just a story about travelling. There's only 2 people in the whole book that can travel between the Londons. And it's by one of them and just the little journeys. I enjoyed this. White London is brutal. Like there was some of it I was like, ooh, but I think it was all to a good point. I really loved it. 5 star. I think it's my second 5-star read of this month actually. So that's pretty good. Then I read Buzzy Maas by Louis Sachar. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The guy who wrote Holes. I read Holes when I was little and I loved it. My little brother loves the movie Holes. And I heard about this in BookTube. And I came across it in a video and I thought, I'm not going to go after that book, but if it comes to me, I'll definitely read it. And then I was teaching in a classroom a couple of weeks later and they had it sitting in the classroom. So I picked it up and read the first, 5 or 6 pages while the kids were doing something else and it sort of hooked me. And then the next week when I went into the library it was sitting exactly where I went to look straight off, so I got that. I enjoyed it. It was it would have been a 3.5. I'm toying with maybe going back and changing it to 4-star, but at the minute it's a 3. It was a good fun little read. I like the sort of spin on it. The sort of topics that come up and are discussed I haven't really seen in children middle grade books, so that was pretty cool. Next one is The Ghosts of Heaven by Marcus Sedgwick. I have a full, I cannot speak today, I have a full review of this on my channel, so I link that down below. Again, this is another one, I gave it 3, but I'm toying with going back and changing it to a 4 because the cleverness of it's starting to sink in. Like I'm starting to realise how clever and unique it was. So I'm thinking of going back and changing it to 4 because I'm not sure, because there was elements of it I didn't like. So we'll see for that one. Then there was I read 2 of these books, The Forgetful Squirrel and the other was Elson Stories. And they're just short little books with little, The Elegant Elf is what the other one was called. They're just short little, from my little library. I picked these up at a car boot sale years and years ago. They were like 20p. And they were lying in my caravan. We have a caravan near the ocean looking out over the sea. And we were up there last week for the Easter break and I ran out of books. Like this chunk, which is quite intelligent and dense text, less than 24 hours. Like I was devouring books, so I didn't bring enough with me. and I'd forgotten my Kindle, so there was 2 of these lying away, and I just really enjoyed them. Some of the wee stories were quite nice, they had nice wee messages, so I read 2 of these. And then my most recent read was A Most Magical Girl by Karen Foxley. Now, first of all, the cover of this really intrigued me, caught my eye, and then I picked it up and I looked at the blurb, and it just says, magical machines, mysterious underworlds, and a race against time. So that completely got me hooked. It's about a girl who's essentially a witch. They don't call them necessarily a witch. Her mother was also a witch, but her mother has lied about her whole past, who her father was, yada yada yada. And then her mum goes away and sends her to live with 2 great aunts, and they tell her that, like, well, how do you not know this? You're a witch, what, you haven't had any magical training? And then a baddie comes, and it's up to the youngest one in the order to fight the baddie. So it's left up to our main protagonist. I did like this. It got started really quickly, and it's really hard to do that, I find, in books. Either I'm like 3 chapters into a book and I'm like, we're still getting character descriptions here, like I need some action, or like this one, like you're straight into action before anything started. And I think like it's quite a hard balance to get right. And when I was reading it at the start, I was a bit confused because I was like, wait, what's going on? I don't even know who this person is. But I was glad of it once I got a couple of chapters in, because I feel like if this book had had a lengthy descriptive, and there's quite a lot of description and world building within the book, so I think a lengthy intro would have maybe spoiled it. But I don't know if it was me or if it was the writing, but I found my mind drifting a lot while reading this book. Although I was reading the story, it seemed like they were going from here to here, and there was like a whole page of them getting from A to B, but like you knew nothing was going to happen. It was just describing the tunnels they were going through, and I found that meant it was very easy for my mind to drift, and then I went, oh, what? I turned a page and I don't even know what happened in the last one. So it took me a long time to read this book, even though it's small and middle grade. I just wasn't picking it up. Now I was quite busy. So I gave it 3 stars. There was elements of the story that I liked, and I liked some of the characters, and I think the plot was pretty original, but yeah, maybe the writing style wasn't for me. So as of the 23rd of April, that is all that I have read so far. So later on this afternoon, I'm taking all these bad boys back to the library. I'm going to get some new ones. I'm in the mood for some space, I think, some sci-fi. So we'll see what I come up with. I have another 2 books to tag on to the end of this segment, because I finished 2 more books this month since I last recorded the previous part where I was wearing different clothing and had a different title. And they are The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. Like, do not quote me on that's how you pronounce that name. This is the 2nd book in the Raven cycles, the sequel to the Raven Boys. I preferred this one more than the first. Like, I loved the first. I had it read in a couple of days, and I instantly put the 2nd on hold at the library so I could get it within a week or 2, and I think I loved it even more. It's about 500 pages, I think, and I had it read in a day or 2. Like, I couldn't put it down. I thought this was more absorbing. I thought the storyline was really original, and I thought there was a lot more character development, and the characters were a lot more likeable in this than the Raven Boys. So if the series continues on like this, I'll be incredibly happy. The last book that I read this month was The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. If you saw my library haul, you know that I was intimidated by Hemingway, and I picked a short story to start off with, sort of ease myself in. I'm glad that I picked a short story because I didn't like it, and I don't think I'm going to be picking up any Hemingway anytime soon. I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. I thought the story was boring. Nothing happened. It didn't catch me, and I felt like the writing style was like written as if it was one long sentence. It wasn't. There was paragraphs and full stops and question marks and everything else, but it read to me as if it was just like a big long line of words. that's probably just me, but that's what I got from the book. I think it could be used split up, if not into chapters, acts or parts, or somehow, you know, segmented with like a blank page or something. I think that would have maybe helped the flow a little bit. But yeah, 2 stars. It's gonna take a lot to convince me to pick up more Hemingway. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.